one way. So that's, right? The other one is, so I'm making this angle change, and it's pulling my step. But I don't punch so prematurely without moving this foot that I've lost my center. My center is always connected to my punch. Yep. So I'm 56 years, I guess, now practicing karate. And the miracle of YouTube, I was able to go out and share my joy of my experience worldwide. And that was huge paradigm shift for a super introverted guy running a neighborhood karate dojo. So I want you to know I'm really reverent and thankful that I'm able to hopefully help people find as much joy in this practice as I did. Because there's a part of me that feels like we're all just passing through. So what we do is just try to be joyful for one another and hopefully inspire each other. And I'm deeply inspired by people that travel and watch their training or hearing their story. I mean, we should all be moved by each other's experience and kind of get back to that sense of connection. My Aikido teacher says, Rick, it's not I-body-do, it's Aikido. And what he means is it's not in the technique, it's in the sense of connection. And we explore that sense of connection in our practice with our uke or a training partner or the circumstance. But then I think the beautiful thing about what we do is via our imagination, we extrapolate these hard-earned epiphanies that we find in the dojo to life at large. Are you catching that? Right? So that we say, wow, I am connected to my neighbor. I am connected to nature. There's principles I see happening in the dojo, but I see them happening everywhere. And so this creates, I would say, a transcendent experience, which is what I think living should be. Yeah. So the other night, last night, when I was talking to you guys, I said, at some level, you can think of your karate in many different ways, but one way is that we're really just learning how to learn something, how to have a meaningful experience. And you could say that you would like to have your life to be a meaningful experience. And maybe all of life is just a search for meaning. So these are the kind of dialed back, and like when I think about my practice and what I have learned from it, I keep trying to go deeper and deeper because I know there's almost like an archetype, there's a fundamental truth that's really compelling me to continue practicing. And I don't know if it's because I just want a good front kick. It's something much deeper than that. Do you understand? And it's attached intimately to our humanity. Okay. So I think it's very helpful, like when we train together or we have experiences, when I go places, it's not like I'm going to tell you, well, it's not going to be here, it's now here, and everyone was doing it wrong before. What I'd rather do is give you a way of seeing your own practice a little differently, because that's going to be very enriching if you can do that. Do you know? So, I think genius is kind of just a particular tack. Like if you're in the forest and you see a certain landscape, but if you move a little to the right, you see a different landscape. And so part of your journey, I would say, is always adjusting your perspective, your parallax. Okay? So one of the things, and I was really impressed with Hotton Sensei's class today, because like last night, I said, one way that you can almost generically think of your training is as you're channeling energy. Like at a very fundamental level, you are here. By virtue of your here-ness, you have a life energy. It's transient, I hate to tell you. Okay? but you are part of this miracle life energy at this moment. And what do we do through our karate? Well, we learn to focus that life energy. We learn to become effective. We learn to derive meaning. We do all the things that I would say celebrate our life. Okay? And when you think of your training that way, it takes on all sorts of different, it's not just going to the dojo. It's like some sort of homage to your existence. Okay? So when I was watching a sensei teach his class, I really like when we talk about channeling energy, and I say if you're throwing yakuzuki or any technique that you're doing, really, you're just driving energy through your body. But when you, and I tell my students sometimes when I say, you want to feel, go for that feeling like you're hitting the sweet spot of the tennis racket. We all relate to what that is, right?
Right.
Like, you know, there's that stroke that was almost effortless, and that freaking ball went across the court, right? But sometimes you almost have to pick up a tennis racket to feel that. So when I watch his weapons class, that's like a tennis racket. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Like that, nothing's going to teach you that serape effect that you were doing the other day, but an nunchaku. Right? Nothing's going to teach you how to use your hip in Gidambarai than a jo. Because there's something about the jo that is attached to the movement that's giving you feedback. It's like it's projecting the movement in a very obvious form. Do you follow that idea?
Right.
So, like I teach, I'm not a Kobudo teacher. I've studied a lot of Kobudo, and Aiki, Jo, and Boken, but I use it just as a training method to help me understand my karate better. Because when I step with a Boken or a Jo, I can feel my energy come off the end of the thing, which is the same feeling I want to feel when I'm doing my kata. Like I'm never trapped in this conscientious, like timidness. All of my karate wants to be, like we said the other night, shoulder down, eye up to an infinite point. When you put a weapon in your hand, you feel it because the weapon pulls that sensation out. Do you get that idea? So before my center gets there, I'm already going to be moving in. So it's a little bit like that. So as this foot's finishing its receding movement, I'm already sending my hip in. You see that?
Right.
So I get a little bit of this sort of slingshot look. That feeling like that. So I'm here, like that. But that's sort of the basic version. In other words, I retract, and then I pick up this leg and this hand, they travel together to the target. And then I hit a point of relaxation. The next thing I'd like you to do is, so one way of looking at how your karate evolves is that things that are somewhat dissonant get more continuity as you go along. So there's more synchronization as you go along. So instead of my body doing this, instead of my body, this angle, becoming flat, and then taking on that angle, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to let this pull back be my punch. You see that? So as this comes back, I'm going to send the other side in. Now that causes for a little different timing element. In other words, like if I was teaching you Oitsuki to begin with, I would say, a brand new beginner, I would say, you pull your foot up, and as this foot passes what was once your front leg, it picks up this hand, you utilize this compression, and you drive into a punch. That's like how a beginner, well, that's the fundamental way.
Hey.
Okay. Another version might be, I'm actually going to start my hand with my foot. So now in my half step, my elbow's on my hip, and I just get my step behind my elbow. I started the punch same time as the foot. I didn't start it in the half step.
Hey.
Do you follow that?
Hey.
The third version, and the one you tend to use in kumite, is that actually my hand goes to the target and takes my foot with it. You see the difference? Like Hotton Sensei was saying, with the jo, or the bow, if you advance in, the person's going to move back. So the first thing that has to get to the target is your weapon. So if I'm punching, I think I got a zip line going to this nice young man here like that. Don't worry, I'm not going to kill you today. Okay, and my arm is going to pull my step. My arm pulls my step. So in this version, that's how it has to work. That's the feeling. That's the feeling. So the basic 101, that. More advanced way, maybe I should look at my karate in a slightly amorphic way. I'm just channeling energy. And if in any development of any skill, you basically are moving towards efficiency. Right? We can understand that, right? And what is efficiency? But it's essentially maximum effect, minimal effort. So sometimes we do our karate kind of, we're like, gotta make sure. And I said, no, man, just let your karate be. Just let your body, in the most natural way, go into those shapes. Generate that power. Do you follow that idea?
Nice.
Okay. Then I would say, if that's the case, you want your totality to do that. You want everything from your feet to like I remember I trained one time with Kanazawa Sensei, and he says, after 40 years, technique goes down to the end. Then after that, almost like technique goes outside. And I knew exactly what he was talking about because I feel that. When I tell people squeeze the peanut butter out of your first two knuckles, it's because you want that feeling when you punch. Like you're pushing energy almost outside of your space. Do you follow that idea? And that wants to be everything from the floor, like if you're doing a block or anything. If I'm, say, executing Gidambarai, I'm not executing it with just my arm, I'm executing it with the rotation of my body. I'm executing with the drive of this leg, and my shoulders are down, and I'm connected to my world at large. Do you follow that?
Nice.
But that impulse I felt in my grip, I felt in the soles of my feet at the same time. Crack, crack. So everything was happening.